Mira Chile, mira lo que tenemos andando aquí. Desde nuestros increíbles paisajes. Hoy te contamos de nosotros. Del talento de chilenas y chilenos. Estamos creando el futuro acá, desde el extremo sur del mundo, donde lo imposible es posible, haciendo que las cosas pasen. La energía de esta tierra nos ha dado tanto durante tanto tiempo. Queremos compartir todos nuestros aportes con el mundo. Mira hacia arriba. ¿Ves las estrellas? Nosotros vemos que hay todo un mundo por delante. Y tenemos tanto para aportar al mundo que estamos ansiosos por saber cuán lejos podemos llegar desde aquí. Chile es la experiencia del extremo sur del mundo que te invita a crear juntos un futuro mejor. Chile, Creating Future.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of ASEAN Study Center, thank you for joining this session. Welcome all. Welcome back to our ambassadorial lecture in 2021, presented by the ASEAN Study Center from the Faculty of Social and Political Science, Universitas Gadjah Mada. My name is Lucky, and I am Program Division Intern at ASEAN Study Center. I will be here today as a Master of Ceremony, and thank you very much for attending. Today, His Excellency Ambassador Gustavo Ayares from Chile Embassy in Jakarta would be our speaker for this ambassadorial lecture. Before we start, I'd like to inform all the participants of today's session. If you have any question to His Excellency Ambassador Gustavo Ayares, please write your question in the comments section, and we will raise the question in the Q&A session. To start the ambassadorial lecture, I'd like to welcome Mr. Dhafri Agus Salim that will lead us to the introduction to our speakers as well to bridge the discussion. Dr. Dhafri Agus Salim is the Executive Director of the ASEAN Study Center and is a senior lecturer at the Department of International Relations at Universitas Gadjah Mada. His areas of expertise are in the issues of ASEAN regional cooperation, human rights, and environment. So without further ado, Mr. Dhafri, the time is yours. I'm sorry, Mr. Dhafri, your microphone still off. You may turn on the microphone.
It's okay. Thank you, MC. Before I start, I would like to express my impressions about how beautiful the Chile is. So I hope one day I have an opportunity to visit Chile. Hopefully. Okay, now let me start the ambassador lectures today. Let me first of all, say good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and viewers at home. Thank you very much for your participation in this very important lecture. And today, I have the honors to welcome and guide the discussion we will be having with the Ambassador of Chile to ASEAN in Indonesia, His Excellency Ambassador Gustavo Ayares. Good afternoon, Ambassador.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us today to inform you and also the other participants who joining this lecture today. The ambassadorial lecture is a lecture we hold to discuss strategic ASEAN issues from the point of view of an ambassador. So we hold these discussions on a regular basis. And today, we will be discussing ways that ASEAN has and will be collaborating with Chile as the important partner and a leading Latin American nation. I find it is important to highlight that Chile is the first Latin American country to establish cooperating with ASEAN. Since 2019, both parties enhanced their cooperation by establishing ASEAN-Chile Development Program, or ACDP. The ACDP focuses on the issue within the political, security, economic, and social cultural region. Now, both regions share even greater collaboration as mapped out within the ASEAN-Chile Practical Cooperation Area, or PCA, for ASEAN-Chile Development Partnership 2021 to 2025. What we hope to discuss today are the emerging challenges, opportunities, and future plans to continue strengthening partnership between ASEAN and Chile. We also hope to take a look at some of the most strategic operations within the two regions and how the pandemic has affected the implementation of the program. To lead the discussions, I would like to introduce to you the Ambassador of Chile to ASEAN in Indonesia, His Excellency Ambassador Gustavo uh, Ayares. Birth February 10, 1988. Married with three children. Academic background: a 1981 degree in law, University of Chile. In 1986, Foreign Affairs diploma from Georgetown University, Washington. In 1996, Master in European Law, Stockholm University, Sweden. And in 1983, joined the Foreign Service at the Academy for Diplomats. His Excellency Gustavo Ayers has long experience as a diplomat by holding several important positions in the Chilean Ministry of Foreign Affairs. For example, in 2009 as an ambassador to Colombia, and 2014 as a General Director of Administrative Affairs, and in 2018 ambassador to Japan, and now as ambassador to Indonesia in ASEAN. So, ambassadors, I think now I present you the floor, please.
Thank you very much for your kindness introduction. Hope you find well and all the audience. So my first words is appreciation for God Yamada University, especially the ASEAN Studies Center, to my friend Dr. Dafri Abusalim, that we have been in contact by Zoom, not in person yet because of the pandemic. So I cross my fingers that day will become, that we will meet in person. So my appreciation and all to students, teachers, and the public. I will present some sort of short presentation about Chile in general, and I'm not pretending to cover all the aspects. Later, I will present some ideas regarding Chile and ASEAN and the perspective that we have. And finally, I think probably will be the most interesting part for you is to have a dialogue with all of the audience, and I will be happy to answer anything that you are wondering about my country. So we have titled this presentation as the Chile ASEAN Understanding the Challenge. Next, please. Okay, we will try to put in a context, especially numbers. In the case of Chile, I will present to you some sort of a general scope of my country. We'll try to underline the possibilities that we have in the future and the opportunities that we have been identifying in order to be close to ASEAN. The picture that you are seeing now and watching now on the screen is Santiago City, the capital, and you can see We are just beside the Andes Mountains. Next, please. Probably you don't know, but Chile, no matter how far in the southern hemisphere of in the Americas, we are one of the most open economies in the world. We probably has the largest free trade agreements network. We have an outstanding level of connectivity in Latin America. In the future, already was established the agreement to build a submarine cable connecting America and Asia that will pass through Australia, New Zealand, Australia, and to Japan. So we will be able to transmit all the big data produced by Latin America. We have been very much interested in entrepreneurial and startup innovation as part of our main goals. But in 2 words, we are open to the world. Next, please. As I told you before, we have a special instrument in Latin America that is Pacific Alliance. It's very good news for us. It's an integration market built by 4 countries, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and Chile. And the next summit in Colombia in December, Singapore will be officially integrated as associated member, meaning that Singapore had been access to the tariff agreement that we have among ourselves. So we'll be one of the first, if not the first, Asia countries that we have been under this status. As I said before, we have around 65 agreements that we cover that the Chilean products have the possibility to cover almost 5 billions of consumers. Next, please. Maybe you don't know, but it's important for us to underline that we are the #1 world producers of copper. We produce almost 28% of the worldwide production. That is very important because copper, our main market is China, and also, of course, we have other outstanding markets. But for many years, Chile has been able to keep that position. Next, please. So, very much related with copper, we have been able to be close to the 48% of the lithium production reserves in the world. We are one of the biggest production now of lithium, especially with some Chinese investment. Why is important on the line? Because if we are talking about e-mobility, you must consider that for any kind of model that you decide, any country, of course, you must think that for the e-mobility, you need 3 times copper in the car, and for batteries, you need lithium. So we are very much ready to offer to the world possibilities to improve the mobility through this new idea of electric mobility. Next, please. This is something interesting because it sounds maybe very much unknown for the people, but every day we have around 82 million people that they're consuming fresh fruit coming from Chile. Just for giving an example, we are one of the very 2 or maybe the first or second producer of cherries in the world. We produce also quite a lot of salmon. We produce quite a lot of wine. For example, 10 million people every day eat Chilean salmon. Also, we have shell nuts. Our main markets are growing every day. Next, please. Also, we have the possibility in the northern part of Chile that we have one of the biggest spots for astronomical observation. In practical terms, we gather around 40% of the capabilities. So we have We have agreement for 20 countries in the world that are scientific settlements in Chile. We are talking about a distance about 1,500 kilometers from the capital in the northern part. So we are very happy to have this possibility as not just a scientific advance that is very important, also to underline that Chile offers all the possibilities in terms of agreement in order to explore the galaxy. Next, please. So this is also interesting to underline that Chile has been promoted changing the energetic matrix in our country for almost 100% solid and fossil fuels. We have been able to increase our renewable energies to almost 25% through the solar radiation. In the northern part of Chile, we have clear sky for doing that. But also we have been able to get a lot of energy from our thermal power plants and geothermals. So now our main project is to produce green hydrogen. We think that we have the potential to produce around 13% of the total world production. Next, please. As I told you before, green hydrogen is our main product for the future. This is a project that we have been working with Germany. And also we have very good interested observing from some Malaysian companies and also from Singapore. We understand that green hydrogen is considered the fuel of the future, especially because of the renewable and cheap enough to produce in big quantities. Next, please. Some of the things that I would like to put forward to you in order to have some idea about Chile, that we have been committed politically, economically, and socially to protect the more than 6,435 coastline that we have. So these particular numbers allows us to concrete the institution of marine parks. More than 50% of our maritime areas are considered special treatments. We have almost 41% of the protected coastal in Chile for multiple uses. So we are promoting quite a lot of protection of our environment, but mainly our maritime perspective, considering that we are one of the main doors of through the Pacific to Latin America. Next, please. So in the same context, you must consider that maybe 50% of the mammals and marine mammals that exist in the world, you can find and live in our maritime areas. Next, please. This is a picture of the southern part of Chile. Before I show you some picture of the northern part, the southern part of Chile is a beautiful landscape, but also we have the idea that maybe we can improve our opportunities to protect the planet, in a sense that we will try to keep as a sort of biological reserve many areas in the southern part of Chile. We are talking about Patagonia that we share with Argentina. Next, please. Also, something that I would like to inform you is that we have an outstanding level of universities in Chile. We are normally choice for many foreign students, especially coming from Colombia, from Argentina, Uruguay, and other Latin American countries. We have an extended network of universities, some of them very much connected with European and American universities. Next, please. So, as Professor Duffy mentioned, we are the very first Latin America that we got the developer partner with ASEAN. That was established a couple years ago. Of course, the pandemic situation has been a burden for us in a sense that we have been not able to have the energetic pace and rhythm that we plan to do because we must adjust all the agenda to the new reality. In that sense, I would like to express to the audience that we have been now working with ASEAN in 4 pillars. I mean, try to cover all the pillars of ASEAN, social, economic, and political, but we identify areas we are working at good governments through the transparency experience in Chile. In the area of agriculture, we are trying to identify and promote project regarding superfood, quinoa. This is interesting, especially for the less developed countries in ASEAN. Also, we have been we established a dialogue regarding the mining industry in Chile, because we have the non-extended industry. So we are trying to cover all the pillars of ASEAN. An idea is to work on those projects in order to obtain best practices, in order to give some information, to receive some information. The first experience that we have through the Thai Agency of Cooperation around 1 month ago regarding our experience to negotiate free trade agreements. Next, please. In that sense, I would like to, referring to the trade exchange, I would like to underline that the first, this year has been a recovery process for us. Now the trade that we have, the total exchange with ASEAN is almost 1 billion. I think we are below our expectations for many reasons. Connectivity, it is not easy nowadays. But we understand that these possibilities are increasing every day because normality is coming back, and we need to, of course, have the chance to improve our numbers. Within those figures, copper is still number 1, and considering that our main market is China, but also we have another interesting market in Southeast Asian countries. Also, within the non-copper product, we have fruits, salmon, and wine as a flagship of our export offer. Next, please. This figure, this chart, show us the development of the trade. You can see that our best years were 2017 and 18. Later, of course, we diminished because of the pandemic. In this chart, you can see that our main partners in the area are Vietnam and Thailand. Both are, over 1 billion bilateral trade. Vietnam 1 billion and 1, Thailand 1.3 billion. But Indonesia is, we have a steady numbers, but not relevant in terms of market. Roughly speaking, and we have around 300 million US dollar. But we are convinced that we have all the opportunities to improve our relationship, not just selling Chilean stuff here. Also, we would like to see more Indonesian products in Chile in particular, and in Latin America in general, through this global chain, global value chains, that we would like to have more concrete projects in Latin America. As I told you before, the number of 2020, of course, has been difficult to overcome because of the fault that we have in all the international trade. But our numbers till today are very much promising. Next, please. As you see, if you consider ASEAN, we are talking about roughly about the sixth biggest world economy. We understand also that ASEAN comprises of the third largest economy in Asia. It's the third largest market. We are dealing with around 335 million of people. In Latin America, we have over almost 500 million people. Just consider Pacific Alliance, Mexico, Peru, Colombia, and Chile. We are around 300 million people. We also follow the big internet penetration that you have, the numbers that you can offer to the world, especially in Indonesia, especially in Thailand, are very impressive. We understand that every year you have numbers that are doubling in terms of e-commerce, especially. Also, we observe that ASEAN as a whole, you have an interesting number regarding the age of the people. You have a very young population that also are every day more getting more influence from foreign markets. So we understand that maybe we can the increasing demand is there. And also the middle class growing is an index that we are observing with much interest. Next. So in order to say what are the opportunities that we have in global between Chile and ASEAN, I identify some areas that I would like to share with you. Next, please. For example, we understand that in halal market you are one of the biggest, especially Indonesia plus Malaysia is one of the biggest halal markets in the world. Also, we understand that China has been presented some difficulties regarding the labor cost. So we understand that maybe ASEAN will be overtake China as a factory Asia. As I told you before, the growth of e-commerce is outstanding. Recently is fully operative. The DEPA is the Digital Economy Partnership Agreement that we signed with Singapore and New Zealand, and just recently received the good news that Korea is willing to join the treaty. And also we have some information that China is considering to join this particular treaty. In our case, Chile, we have a free trade agreement with Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, and Vietnam. However, we observe that for the Asian circles of productivity, academy, etc., we appear as a Latin America, we are not well known. So we consider an explored area, and we would like to close that gap. And this kind of seminars is very important to transmit to you some point of view and information about Chile. Of course, also we very much keen to help the less developed countries in ASEAN context, especially Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos. We are ready to assist those communities with our cooperations programs that we are working through ASEAN. Also, from the Chilean side, we understand that one of the needs that we have in the short terms is to operate under the umbrella of diversification of our trade, and also our political connectivity, put it that way, and also to inquire new possibilities in terms of innovation. And of course, post-pandemic period will be centered on economic recovery. That also, in our case, is the same goal. Those diagnoses provide to us some ideas. For example, we understand that we have an enormous potential in agriculture, services, mining, and pulp, good, and tourism. Also, we have interesting opportunities for the generation of global value chains. We would like to see more integrated markets. We think we have new opportunities for the new products, nuts, berry, pork, and live cattle. Also, we understand that we need to work closely with ASEAN in order to explore Latin American markets. Also, we identified that we have some similarities and complementary for the medical products and supplies. That was one of the effects of pandemic. Also, in terms of to upgrade our trade agreements, we started this month. We will start to negotiate the financial services agreement with Indonesia. And also, we would like to see more innovation in both sides, Chile and ASEAN in general, and Chile and Indonesia in particular. We understand what we need to work in different ways in order to get different results, especially because we need to discover new partners in this area. We try to, in order to lower the non-tariff barriers, for example, digital decertification. If now we have facing difficulties to move around, maybe we need to work in different perspective. And of course, everything could be done through e-commerce. The platform that you have, the best know, like Tokopedia, Shopee, on other things, demonstrated that you have very advanced and sophisticated market, and we would like to see more Chilean products within those offers and those within these platforms. And I think I'm done with that. Maybe next, please. Yeah, this was my final presentation. So I'm happy to assist you if you have any questions, comments, and also to discuss new ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you for every interesting points, Ambassador. I think there are a lot of great issue that can be highlighted here, from the presentation of the ambassador. Like the first one is a very clear that the Chile is a country with the what you call it, is the largest free trade network in the world, and very interesting too that the Chile produce a thing like strategic product, if I'm not, if I may say, like copper, for example, lithium, and also it is connected to the environmental security, like hydrogens and many other. So I think that from the presentation, it's quite clear that the Chile is one of the country as very important and strategic partner for ASEAN due to the what they call it, substitutes products between Chile and ASEAN. So once again, thank you very much for the presentation. And now I will open the question and answer session. I believe we have a few participants who wish to join this virtual discussion too. So please, you can write your question in the private chat room on the left side of your screen. Please.
Well, actually, friendship principle name compadrazgo is very interesting. I would like to ask, are the compadrazgo principles become based on Chilean relationship with ASEAN? Actually, I would say that no, it's not compadrazgo, because in Spanish, compadrazgo means a relationship that is based, of course, in friendship, but with certain no clear boundaries. In a sense that it's sort of you can ask your compadre, your buddy, to make things that maybe are beyond our relation. In a sense that my impression is, in the case of Chile, our guidance is to have the most open, transparent relationship with ASEAN in general and Indonesia in particular, meaning that we will be very frank and open to open our markets, to open possibilities, but also to complain when the things are not going well. This is something that is very important in relationship, because if you agree with me, among countries there are no friendship. This is very rough to say, but this is true. Among countries, we have common interest in order to follow our goals. Why? Because friendship is more or less related with governments, and government pass every 4 or 5 years. So the idea is to settle in a link of good relationship, trustful, reliable relationship that is sustainable in the time, because otherwise it doesn't work the model. If we are here and consider that ASEAN is a strategic objective for us, is because we are committed to sustain that agreement for many, many years. In the case of Chile, just to give an example, we have diplomatic relationship for over 65 years, and we have established an embassy from the 83, 84. So we have a long and reliable relationship. And also with Indonesia in general, and in particular, with some other countries, we share some international fora. For example, we are member of APEC. We also we are members and active in some panels in agricultural products within the World Economic Organization. So we have many points and that we are working together. But that links are based on reliable and trustful attitude and policies. This is very important because if we are just talking about among friends without no legal frameworks, it's difficult to sustain in a time.
Okay, thank you, Ambassador. Next question, please. Yeah, from William Zhu.
Yeah. How's the recent development of regionalization effort in Latin America? Do you think could become well, actually, I think our experience in Latin America has been half successful, I would say, because in practical terms, during the 80s and during the 90s, it was difficult to sustain a regional area in Latin America. Just maybe the whole exception is the political entities, Group of the Rio and other things, in order to coordinate some political activities. My view is that after that, we started to create two poles in Latin America. One of them is Mercosur, that includes Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Brazil. That Chile has been in contact. We are non-members, full member of Mercosur. We just participate in some areas of Mercosur because we have differences regarding tariff and the possibility or independence to reach some agreements. And so with the time, we created Alianza del Pacífico, including all the Pacific countries, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and Chile. And I think those poles works in different perspective because have been more active Pacific Alliance regarding Mercosur. Mercosur has been in crisis and for some years. In that sense, my impression is very personal, but I understand that maybe your experience in ASEAN is more powerful, more solid than that we have in Latin America. In a sense that you have been created a community of countries with common goals, and you have been able to sustain during the time with your crisis. Of course, Myanmar today is one of the crises, but in our case, we have not able to integrate it, except Pacific Alliance nowadays, deep in our countries when we are talking about to have a region that you are easy to identify. as I told you before, and from the political views, also we have been split in some areas, or regarding some issues. Cuba, for example, was one of the most interesting factor to observe some division in Latin America. Also, Venezuela is one of the issues that, of course, split the Latin American countries. But in the end, we are expecting to have to identify the roads in order to create more unity, to be more coordinated, and to tackle the same problem that we have: poverty, inequity, climate change effects on our countries, sustainability after the crisis of the pandemic. So we have the same common goal. So the idea is to work together.
Thank you, Ambassador. I think that is such enlightening explanations. And then we move to the next question, please. Okay, Tunggul, please. Yeah.
Yes, of course, we have been very much committed to the climate crisis. One of the things that we would like to share with you is that is the public policy has been very successful in order to move our energy matrix from 100% fuel coming from fossils to now getting solar energy and renewable sources. Over 25, almost 30% of our energetic matrix. Of course, this is not enough. We need to be committed with the next generation. So we have been working very much on plastic debris in oceans. This is something that is a matter of concern, especially due to the fishery activities. And also, we would like to take control of our production activities that we have on ocean. Just give an example, our farmers of salmon also produce some contamination that we are very much worried. But in practical sense, that climate crisis is a global issue. And Chile has been assumed some sort of leadership. Remember that COP25 originally was planned to celebrate it in Chile. Actually, for the 26th that will be celebrated next month in Scotland, Chile will pass forward the presidency of the conference. So we have been able to develop a leadership in Latin America in global terms and worldwide, especially because we are very much committed with the protection of ocean and our maritime activities.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Sorry, sir.
Okay.
I would like to add something. This particular climate change crisis and area of interest is something that we are convinced that we have chances to get more cooperation with Indonesia, especially regarding maritime debris, use of soil, water administration. I think we have good practices that we can share with Indonesia.
Thank you, Ambassador. As I said before, that so once again, what the Ambassador explains about the role of Chile in what you call it, dealing with the issues of the environmental security is really significant. So once again, it's really I think in the needs of the most of the countries of the member of ASEAN, to deal with this kind of issues. So once again, the existence of Chile as a part of the ASEAN partner, I think this again timely and really significant and important. Okay, we move now to the next questions. I think there's so many questions now from Husnul Maria, please. Yeah.
Yeah, ASEAN and Chile, COVID-19. Yes, we have been established to make possible to know something that at the beginning was very much unknown, as was COVID-19 crisis. If you remember 1 year ago, nobody knew about the vaccination and everything was so complicated. So in that particular area, we have been developed a very fruitful relation between BPOM, that the Indonesian Agency for Medicine and Vaccination. So we have been working together in a very close stance. For example, all the data that Indonesia produced for authorized Sinovac vaccine was used by the Chilean agency in order to get our own authorization. So now we have been able to reach an agreement. So next week we will sign an official memorandum of understanding between BPOM and the ISP, that is the Chilean Agency for Medicine and Vaccination. So that's the way in order to cooperate. Just giving an example, maybe you can cooperate funding respirator or training, but also the data that you produce and you are able to study is very important for the process of vaccination. So just giving an example, we in Chile, we secure our supply for vaccine because we are not so much people. We are 19 million. I mean, the population of Jakarta. But we are an extended country. So one of our ideas is to have supplies for the first shot, for the second shot, for the third shot. So now we have been able to vaccinate almost 80% of our population with 2 doses. Now we are starting to vaccinate children from 6 years old upwards. So those things are we are able to pursue because we have very good links with other countries, not just the most advanced countries. This is something that we must work together. In that sense, I follow and support the words of the Minister Redno when she said that this is a global problem. We need to have a global vision. Here, the individual solution, we are not escape of the most complicated things. For example, just think about that Africa has very low percentage of vaccination. So what will be next? That Africa will be forgotten? And so it's something that is it's a matter of concern.
Okay. All right. Once again, thank you for the answer, Ambassador. I think once again, so now that's another best practice by Chile government that can be adopted by most of the country in region. I mean, in the ASEAN region. And the next question from Chita Azarin, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Our commitment with ASEAN as a structure, as an organization, is to work evenly with the 3 pillars: socioeconomic, political, and cultural activities. So we will try to cover all the areas without our possibilities. One of the things that I'm very much concerned is we need to work, as I put in my presentation, in order to close the gap of knowledge that we have between ASEAN and Chile. There are not much knowledge around. We need to provide more information, and we need to first establish better contact in order that human resources are be able to travel to Chile to be in contact. We have an experience in different areas that we can share, especially with the less developed countries, and also to explore new areas of links, and meaning to be more innovative, because if we just thinking in order to selling raw materials to Asia countries and receive from use of manufacturers, we're keeping the relationship just close to one area. My intention is, as an ambassador, to explore new possibilities, to open new windows, to know each other in different way. What about innovation regarding environment? What about innovation regarding social life? What about poverty? Our experiences that we have in our own experiment in poverty to tackle poverty. Those are the things that maybe should be included in a different agenda. And we are working very much on that particular new spirit of the relationship and,
Yeah.
and be together. It's very important, be together. Pandemic effect has been one of the things that demonstrated that isolation is not the solution.
Thank you, Ambassador. I'm quite sure there will be a lot of questions anymore, but due to the time limitation, now already 1:50. But before we close the lecture, I would like to raise one simple question to ambassadors. And, how familiar the ASEAN member countries, among the people of Chile so far? Do they know?
I
Do
think,
they interested to
yes,
be in
yes,
the ASEAN? Yeah.
yes. I think I have the impression because in Chile, I would say it that way. There is a segment of the population that we call the millennials, as
Mm,
any other country in the world, that
yeah.
they used to travel quite a lot during this sabbatic year or leap year. So it's
Uh-huh.
very common within those people, young, but no, I mean, we are talking about 25, 26 till 30, 32
Mhm,
that used to travel quite a lot in Southeast Asia. So they are very much familiar with the Indonesia, Thai, Myanmar, Cambodia,
mhm.
even the most remote places.
Yeah.
We have when we have these stranded people during the pandemic, finally we realized that we have over 1,000 people that was, we need to evacuate it in different countries of the area. So this is demonstrated that the young generation know
Yeah.
much better Southeast Asia reality, and we
Yeah.
would like to see those numbers coming from ASEAN go to Chile and Latin
Yeah.
America. This is
Yeah.
something also we must work because to have a personal knowledge on to have your own experiences to create fundamental bonds between both Chile and ASEAN. So my invitation is, if you are interested to know more than Chile, more than Latin America,
Mm.
happy to assist you and appreciate very much the opportunity that the GAD Yamada University and the ASEAN
Yeah.
Study Centers give us
Yeah.
in order to express our ideas with all the transparency and humbleness that is important to have in those seminars. Hmm?
Thank you, Ambassador. That's a really good news, for us. Simply
Yeah.
because from our side, I mean, at least from Indonesia, a lot of young people, might be also the old people, quite well known about Chile in relation to football.
Yeah,
Football,
yeah.
very
Yeah.
famous. Okay. All the participants, I think I would like to say sorry. We have to end these lectures due to the time limitations. I believe this is all the time we have for today's lecture. And on behalf of the ASEAN Study Center, I would like to sincerely thanks to you for your times and being here today. And we hope to be able to have more discussion alike today in the near future. Thank you, His Excellency Ambassador Ayers, and thank you, viewer, for your participation. To the floor. I return the floor to the MC, and good afternoon, especially for the ambassador. I hope we have another special chance to meet, sometime either in OGM or somewhere. Thank you. Lucky, we return this time to you. Yeah. Oh, what's that?
All right. Thank you, Pak Dafri, for moderating this session, and also thank you very much again for the very insightful discussion with our speaker, His Excellency Ambassador Gustavo Ayares. I'm sure there are a lot of key takeaways that we can learn and reflect from today's discussion. So for all the participants, thank you for joining. Please stay tuned and please stay tuned to our social media to get to know more about ASEAN and participate in our future events. Again, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at ASEAN Study Center, our Instagram at ASEOGM, and our official website at ascfolder.ugm.ac.id. To receive your certificate, don't forget to fill out the evaluation form that will be shared here. We hope you stay safe, healthy, and I'm lucky. See you at the next event. If you would like to collect your e-certificate, here's the link. We hope to see you at our future event. Thank you and have a good day and have a good weekend.
Mira Chile, mira lo que tenemos andando aquí. Desde nuestros increíbles paisajes. Hoy te contamos de nosotros. Del talento de chilenas y chilenos. Estamos creando el futuro acá, desde el extremo sur del mundo, donde lo imposible es posible, haciendo que las cosas pasen. La energía de esta tierra nos ha dado tanto durante tanto tiempo. Queremos compartir todos nuestros aportes con el mundo. Mira hacia arriba. ¿Ves las estrellas? Nosotros vemos que hay todo un mundo por delante. Y tenemos tanto para aportar al mundo que estamos ansiosos por saber cuán lejos podemos llegar desde aquí. Chile es la experiencia del extremo sur del mundo que te invita a crear juntos un futuro mejor. Chile, Creating Future.